Hello everyone, this here is a General Electric tape module model 5040. In layman's terms, it is a stereo reel-to-reel machine. I got this along with a General Electric console stereo, which the console stereo needs quite a bit of work in order to get it up and running. I got the two of them together for $40, which is a pretty decent price, but stuff needs work. Cosmetically, this is in pretty decent shape, but there are a few problems with it. One is the counter, and I don't know if that's something I'm going to be able to fix. It almost seems like it's kind of stripped out, but we'll see. Maybe it just needs oil, but I'm not sure. The brakes need to be done because, or I should say the brakes need new pads likely because I should not be able to move this right now, I'm pretty sure. And if I power it up here and press play and stop, you see the tape starts to spool out. Actually, let me bring you up a little bit. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that. There we go. You see the tape likes to spool out where it's supposed to be. The auto stop feature does not function correctly. I think that's just lubricant. I've already partially taken this apart at one point. In fact, I actually kind of already fixed one thing, which was the little bulb wasn't where it was supposed to be for the indicator light. But yeah, this mostly works. Like I said, it plays. It's a 3-speed model. It has 7.5 inch per second, 3 3/4 and 1 7/8. As you can see from there. And I believe that the other thing is that the pause definitely doesn't pause. And the pause not functioning, I believe, is a problem of the brakes as well. So I'm not exactly sure how to get into this. I tried the other night and I couldn't really figure it out. I can only lift it up a little bit. I think I actually need to put the whole machine face down and then remove the back, and then somehow I slide the machine out. Okay, I got all the screws out of the back. Yeah, it just pops out like that. Okay, it's really nicely built. Plywood construction, decent looking plywood as well. What's kind of cool about this is that it gives you a spot to store all the cords. Slide out. Alright, so of course I couldn't get it apart without breaking something. The little plastic fan that goes on the motor appears to have become very brittle and the plastic has broken. So if I can't fix that, not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I might just modify one off of like a microwave oven fan, because I've got a couple of those, and then that probably would suffice just fine, honestly. Now, looking at the back, you can see it's all just attached to this big sheet of metal. And actually, this screw's a little loose. Last night I tried to open it. I guess I didn't really know what I was doing, so there we go. Like, just this like 1/8 inch piece of aluminum. It's like the base for it. And it says here, tape mechanism made for General Electric by VM Corporation? Or WM? I really can't tell. It's kind of been pasted over with some ink. Electronically, this machine works fine, and it, like I said, really the problems I'm having here are mechanical. Now, what I am failing to see is where any brakes would be on this, because that's a clutch. Is on this first. That's where the counter is, down in there. And this button doesn't do anything. I don't know how in depth I'm gonna have to take this apart to get to it. Let's see, maybe just those screws there. So here is the mechanism. Not doing great camera work today, are we? Okay, there's the mechanism. For some reason, oh yeah, it feels very stiff. Let me get some, I think I'll use clock oil for this. Well, unfortunately, I've found a problem. While I have partially fixed it because now I have the reset button working properly, the little fingers that would go in and push and reset it, like, well, it still doesn't really want to work. It's like it's like the plastic shrank or something. It's really stiff. Well, anyway, 2 of the fingers are missing. One popped off while I was trying to fix it, and the other one has just been missing. So I guess we're not going to worry too much about this. It's not like it's going to affect functionality much. It's just kind of nice having that feature. But I need to figure out where the brakes on this thing are and how I'm going to go about fixing the auto stop. All right, so some better news. I found where the brakes are at, and I don't think it should be too hard to work on, so long as I can find a way to make this stay. I think that's what most of this dirt is like just the material of left with the brakes. Yeah, these are, I think these are supposed to move, I would imagine. Yeah, okay, so these pieces here are going to need to be oiled, and there's a pad where there would be brakes, and it looks like it's seized, and it's just, you know, burn it all off basically. So I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning here, and then I'll probably just get some furniture sliders and cut them, and then that will work for our pads. All right, so a little update for you. I have gotten the brakes freed up. Well, I thought it did. Maybe this one might be. Oh, that one stays up a little higher. Never mind. So we're good. Yeah, the brakes are freed up, and the auto stop appears to be functioning now. And yes, it was just lubrication. So what a lot of this is just lubrication. So I'm going to continue to lubricate some stuff. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull. I think I can just pull these off by loosening the screw up here. So it'll give me a little more access. I guess I don't have to do that, but it'll give me a little more access to put on new brake pads. So I've gotten it cleaned up. I'll probably throw some oil on these when I'm done. This is where the pads are going to go, here and here. So I'll cut some felt pads and stick them on, and then we'll see how well it works. So we're a little cleaned up here. Not perfect, but we are a little bit cleaner. I've put in some, what I believe to be is actually weather stripping, and it seems to work fine. I went through a couple different sizes. As you can see, it was really the thickness that was the problem. But I also cleaned the tape head a little better. Still wasn't able to fix that, though not too worried about it, I guess. And like I said, I have fixed the auto stop. It now, it's a little hard to push, now clicks up. And I think it was really just there was like some sticky grease sticking it, getting it stuck there. So yeah, now we're working fine with that. I have lubricated the spindles, and I've lubricated some other linkages back here. Probably could actually lubricate that real quick too. I'd like to lubricate the motor, and then I'll probably put it back together, and this project will be done for now, and I might throw a coat of Old English on that, but this project, after just some cleaning, should be done, because this really wasn't too much problem. Alright, so I got the front and back together, got some parts cleaned up. It's definitely looking a lot better. Polished those up as best as I could, because those were really corroded. And overall, this is looking a lot better. Like I said, the counter isn't going to work. I might have an extra counter somewhere, but I don't think it's that big. So I'm not really going to worry too much about it. And anyway, in order to get to it, I'd have to get out from the back. Auto stop is working now, as the little red lever is sticking out like it's supposed to. Buttons are all cleaned up. Clean up the knobs, just really kind of cleaned it up. Now, I'm going to go and oil the motor. And of course, I have to deal with this broken fan blade. And the fan blade has broken into two sections, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know where the other chunk went, so I'll have to find it. But I'm not sure if I'm going to try and glue that back together, or if it's just going to be easier, there's the other chunk, to grab a microwave oven fan and just use. I managed to glue the fan back together, so now I've just got to put this thing back in the case. And actually what I might do is clean the cords first, because these cords got all sticky, so I might do that. All right, well, I've got it back together. Good news is pause now works. However, when I rewind, still having a problem with it not stopping quickly enough. So I'm wondering if I should maybe try a different material like cork, or maybe this rubber one. The problem is that there's kind of a small clearance. Yeah, because even on stop, I can still kind of move it. It's definitely better. There's definitely more resistance, but I think I'm going to have to take it apart again. However, it's a lot cleaner now. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, so I have to figure that out. Before I put it all back together, I tested playing the other side of the tape and noticed it was having a lot of trouble. And I'm still having some trouble fast forwarding on that side. It might be because the brakes are too tight on that, on the spindle here. But I'm going to do one thing in the meantime, and that's going to be clean up this idler wheel. And I'm just going to put it in a drill and sand it down, and then put some wintergreen oil on it. Maybe soak it in wintergreen oil overnight. I don't know if I really need to do all that, because it's still relatively supple. It's just got, it's just covered in old tape. Now the idler wheel is, or pinch roller, whatever you want to call it, is now nice and supple. Well, it was already kind of supple, but sanded it down with what is it, 220 grit sandpaper. Then put some wintergreen oil on a cloth, and then spun it in that, and then just kind of let it dry or soak it in. Did that a few times, did the last part a few times, and now it's nice and grippy. Still having some trouble getting it to play right, so I'm soaking the idler wheel in wintergreen oil. I'm not sure how long I'm going to let that soak in there for. Maybe a day, maybe a week. It's going to be a little bit hard to do one-handed, but I believe I fixed a few problems. Fixed the brake pads. I ended up going with some rubber ones. I had to adjust a spring, and that was really causing a lot of my problems with playing side B. It would like to stall out. Fast forwarding on side B, like when the reel's all the way at the end, it would stall out. And now, I'm going to press play with my phone here. I mean, I can still stop it with my thumb, but that's normal. Okay, and the idler wheel has been soaked in wintergreen oil, I think for 2 nights now, and then I sanded it a lot. Like I sanded, I know it's going to shrink a little bit, but it's already kind of big right now anyway. I sanded down the edges because it kind of was more of a concave shape when, I know that's not really the right term here. You want it bumped out in the middle, not on the outside. And the middle was like sucked in a little bit. So I sanded down the outside, so whenever it shrinks, the middle will be pushing out more, and that's what you want. I also had to sand the cap sand a little bit, not too much, but it would not, like, there was stuff that would just not clean off of it. So yeah, I think we're good now. And now belt squeals a little bit, but I can actually fast forward. Everything stops. Probably shouldn't do fast forward and rewind one after another, but it does work now. So I've got it mostly put back together, and as luck would have it, the fan blade decided to break again. So I'm going to look into a way to fix that. I'm going to be winning any awards with this one, but the fan is now fixed, and I've gotten a little bit of experience with plastic welding. I took that container right there. Well, actually, I took a water bottle cap at first, but it ended up being too flexible. But I took that plastic container there, cut a piece off, and just started melting away and sticking it on. And like I said, it's not pretty, but you're not going to see it anyway. And it's actually stronger than the other blades now. So I got the machine put back together. This is my second or third attempt at recording an outro, because every time I do, one of the brake pads want to fall off. So in the future, I might need to find a more permanent solution to the brake pads. However, I don't know why I didn't think about this before, but instead of taking apart the whole machine, I can just take off the spindles, and then I have access, or pretty decent access, to the brake pads, so I can replace them that way. So I'm not taking the whole machine apart. Anyway, I'll give you a little play here. And rewind. Okay, fast forward. And of course there's record, which I have tested and it does seem to work. I had problems with getting one channel to come in. I think it mainly came down to this half broken adapter I was using and the fact that I was using a Bluetooth adapter. So I think it works, but it's not too much of a concern to me. It's not like I'm really going to be recording anything. I mainly use reel-to-reel machines for playback. But yeah, so everything's working. It cleaned up really well, except for the white part. It's still got some brown on it. I think the person smoked in his home. But cosmetically, the wood is in very good shape. And of course, with a little bit of the scratch restore, came out looking even better. But yeah, that is all for now. Thank you for watching.